All right, everybody, welcome back to yet another one. Today we're looking at my first MCU Marvel Legends that I've reviewed. I have a lot of MCU figures. I somehow have not reviewed one on the channel yet, even though this is my main thing I collect is the movie stuff. So that's kind of strange. But this is that evergreen line that they do to make sure there's a version of a character always on the peg. You'll hear people saying, "Oh, this is a peg warmer." Yeah, that's the point. It's literally there to be available. Um, I do have my problems with this subline, but there's some stuff here and there that I appreciate. But pretty much they're here so that a new collector could pop in and be like, "Oh, I want that," because why not? I wish that these were around for my initial go on my first collection, but since I'm starting up a new one, I do appreciate that this is here. I like I said, I do have problems with it. Like, I feel like I feel like every single one of them are missing something, right? So like the Far From Home suit was missing another head sculpt. The Captain America, I feel like if you're not going to give us the battle damage shield, at least give us Mjolnir in there. What else? Iron Spider. That's cool, but it doesn't come with the Waldos. See what I'm saying? And then there's the Amazing Spider-Man as well, but that one doesn't have the Andrew Garfield head. And what's even weird, though, is like that one is labeled No Way Home. And if it was, we all know if it had Andrew Garfield, it probably would have had to been labeled under Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I only bring that up because this one, I can't remember if the other ones have this or not, but I'm pretty sure the Amazing Spider-Man has the movie. This one is just generic Marvel Studios Iron Man Mark III. So it's just kind of strange. This one also is missing accessories. However, I do think this kind of improves the paint. Because we initially saw this in one of the Infinity Saga waves, and there was also the Mark II version of this, which was just a repaint. But this one is missing some like weapon accessories, especially there's a forearm function that was on the previous one, which I'm actually okay with that one not being on here because maybe it was just my copy, but the forearm on the Infinity Saga one, that little piece, never wanted to stay on there, and I just ended up taking it off. So I'm kind of okay with that not being here. I do think it's lame that there's no, because I think that had maybe two separate weapons for the forearm. I don't know, but I am bummed that the faceplate up head sculpt's not here. I do find that to be lame, because I always like that 2-pack with the really crappy Mark I and the really crappy Iron Man, Tony Stark. It's a really shitty 2-pack, but if you want a Mark I, that's kind of your only option. I remember upgrading that Tony Stark by giving him that faceplate up head sculpt, and it was just kind of cool. It was a suited, like, normal dress suit Tony Stark, but he had the helmet on, and it was lifted up, and it was a much better likeness to RDJ. So that would have been nice to have that laying around so I could then upgrade it at some point once I get it again. But anyway, like I said, this is that evergreen line. You got the Marvel Studios Iron Man Mark III. Same thing at the top. You have a render of Iron Man there. Iron Man there. Legalese. It says, Tony Stark takes on the world's worst villains in the Mark III suit, a technological wonder equipped with a variety of stunning enhancement and upgrades. He only took on one villain, And I'd say he's pretty low on the list of worst villains, but whatever. And I also feel like they've chosen the absolute worst render ever made for the Mark III armor. I don't know what's going on here. Like, why not just use some movie stills? I know they always use, like, artwork a lot for these things. But that just, I feel like that just looks really bad. Maybe that's just me. I'm going to get him out of here now. There's that. Accessories. And there we go. So out of the package, he comes with fists here. And then he also comes with these two blast effects that we've seen thousands and thousands of times. These ones are completely clear, though. There's no blue to them. There's no yellow to them. And also, I'll get to another thing that's kind of annoying me. But he also comes with these kind of repulsor open hands. And these, they do this a lot with some comic book ones, but these MCU ones still, they don't have a hinge. I would like the option to hinge it. And maybe they did that because this hand plate kind of gets in the way. But let's see, even on this one, it's not super bendable, but I feel like I've seen a comic book Iron Man where there's a hand plate and it's kind of bendable enough to get out of the way. But yeah, those are just stationary. But also, these blast effects are only going to be good for the feet. There is peg holes in the bottom. As you can see, they pluck in there, which is cool. But as you can see here, and they've done this before, added a hole here, but these ones don't have it. No peg hole. You can't put this repulsor in there. That's kind of lame. But yeah, like I said, these ones do have a hinge up and down. Probably not going to get a whole lot of up because of that plate, but it will go down. And I'm just going to get my hands on there real quick. Yeah, and then as far as sculpt goes, it looks fantastic. You know, I doubt it's like 1-to-1, but it looks like an MCU Iron Man, and it looks phenomenal. You got panel lines, you got indented lines, you got some gunmetal gray stuff going on in there. You know, just random stuff here and there. Looks like there's some grates there for maybe like air or something. I see some tiny screws. That spine section, some more vent holes there. Panel lines throughout. It's just, it is beautiful. Now off the bat, I can't remember how that first one, I want to say this one is striking me more. Now, I don't know in terms of the red, I don't know how different the red is, but I will say that the gold is much less yellowy. And I wouldn't mind having both of these, both versions, because the gold on here looks more like the Prodigal Son gold from Iron Man 3, where the suit was mostly gold. It was like this real pale gold, and that's what this is. And the original one, I think, was a little bit more on the yellow side. But, I mean, looking here, I don't know. It still works for me. And maybe it is in the terms of, like, the movie, how it looks on screen. It might be more accurate. I don't know. But I do like this. I do feel like I'm enjoying looking at this more so than the original one. It just looks damn clean. And you can kind of see your reflection in the red, but I noticed when I was messing with it back here, you can see your reflection in the helmet, which is cool. It's not a super crisp, clear reflection, but I can clearly see myself in the helmet, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, sculpt work is phenomenal. The paint, most of it's sculpted or molded in this red. Is anything molded in gold? think so. No, unless like there's separate pieces, like the faceplate maybe. I don't know. But paint, like I said, this gold is phenomenal. There's some gunmetal gray stuff up here. I feel like everything's where it needs to be. Yeah, and then there is white in the eyes, as you can see there. And then this arc reactor is pretty much just pure white, but there is like a spray effect around it to mimic light. I will say though, I feel like it's kind of, at least on my copy, favoring this side more. But that's a small little nitpick. Customization from me. I don't think I'm going to touch the gold on this one for once. I think I'm going to leave the gold as is because, you know, I think if I were to touch it up with the gold I have, it would end up looking like the first one. So I don't think I'll do that. I won't touch the red per se, but I am probably going to fill in some panel lines here and there with some silver. Maybe get some more of this gunmetal gray going out through some tiny places. It's going to be very subtle stuff, but I think when it's all tied together, said and done, I think it'll look phenomenal. So here it is. And then I probably should have brought out another MCU figure for a size comparison, but all I have next to me right now is this guy. And as you can see, he's on the taller side, which I would want him to be. I mean, he's in a suit of armor. And looking at this guy, I could buy that somebody is in that suit. So there's that. Let's see. I guess articulation, huh? So the feet, I'm assuming there's a forward-facing pin for rocker in there, but you're not going to rock it anywhere. You're not going to go back anywhere. And you're not going to go up anywhere. This is the movement here. That's it. Because on all sides of this leg, there's some overhang from the boot here, the leg. And this is one of those instances where it's like, this is not Hasbro's fault. This is just character design, you know? And I think if Hasbro were to get creative to fix this, I think it just wouldn't have looked good. Maybe you could have, like, if you had me at gunpoint and told me to fix this problem to at least make this a little bit more manageable, there is a panel line that goes all the way around. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know how, I'm not an engineer. I could be talking about my ass, but make that bottom part past that line a much softer plastic. So at least this can, like, maybe get out of the way. I don't know. Just saying, this isn't, sometimes it's just the character design and Hasbro has to deal with it. So there's that. And then this is weird. I think the knee joints are so weird. So it's pinless on the bottom, but up here, and I don't know how accurate this is because I can't see his legs on the packaging, but you see here, I don't know if that's, I think that's accurate to the character design, just to look mechanical, but I can't tell if it's an actual peg. It looks like it is. Or if it's like a faux peg. Although the inside ones are much deeper, which is something you will notice with older figures with pegs. On one side it is deeper in there. But so I don't know. I just find it strange. But what's even weirder to me is this is such a meaty, beefy knee joint. So here is kind of a normal joint. As you can see, it goes from here to there. This guy, it goes from here all the way up to here. And then when you bend it, like from here to here is how long it is. And then from here to here, like just look how thick that is in there. It's just such a big thing. Now it doesn't look weird at all. as you can see, it looks fine. From right here, it kind of looks weird because there's a huge thing in there, but for the most part, it gets out of the way and it stays hidden. And on top of that, look at that. An Iron Man doing that, that's insane. Very impressed with that. It's just when, I feel like if you were to deconstruct this and take it all apart, I think you would be surprised at how big that that thing is. I don't know if you can see what exactly what I'm pointing out. It's the piece that this is setting on. It's just huge in there, I noticed. So, but not a problem at all. It's working phenomenal. There is a upper thigh cut, legs. Oh, wow. Go up to there. It kind of rides the curve of the crotch, and the crotch section is a softer plastic. Look at it bend right there. That's interesting. Interesting, yeah. Oh no, I just realized something. If you've been watching these, you know what's coming. It can go back that much, can go out that much. Okay, so this thing has drop-down hips, it would appear. But like I've said before, I'm not a fan of them. And these ones don't feel great to move either. They actually feel kind of weird compared to other drop-down hips, but whatever. Like I said, this is a softer piece in the crotch. And I don't remember if my old one stood out as much as this one did, but when I looked at the package, I was like, oh, did they upgrade the articulation? Because this right here, since it is like this has to be a separate piece since it's much softer than this. I thought maybe there was like another ball joint in there. And I was like, did they add more articulation? But no, it's just, it's not. So that, I mean, that kind of let me down, but whatever. Ball joint up here can go forward that much, not a whole lot. Can go backwards much more. Side to side, that's decent. That's decent. Some hula hoop action. It can go all the way around. So that's cool. And then the hands, well, like I said, these ones aren't going to move, but they still can do that. And then you got a double jointed pinless arm. How good are these gonna? Oh, see, that's pretty good too. That's pretty good. I like that. And then there is an upper bicep swivel. And if you look under here, very, very funny looking tiny shoulder ball that does go all the way around. It can go up to about there. Now this is a softer plastic, and it's also on a ring on the peg, which is why you can get it to go all the way around. Really like that system, but it's still going to stop you about there. Now, on both my original version of this, in the Infinity Saga 1 and the Mark II, I don't know if mine were faulty, but I could not get them to move these arms as good as I can on these ones. I don't know if you guys had that problem. Felt like I was like mangling it inside. I feel like I was just winding it up into a big plastic knot. It did not feel good. This feels good. I enjoy moving the arms on this one. I'm glad they move. So it feels phenomenal. So for the most part, I am very pleased with this figure. I wish you could maybe work around this hand panel and get these to articulate, because even the ones that do, you're not getting a whole lot out of. And I also wish there was a damn peg hole for this. And let's see, I do wish maybe you could have some more articulation there, and you're not getting much out of the feet. However, the way everything else moves, I'm hyped for it. I'm all for it. I don't mind it. The biggest sin that this figure makes is the head joint, the neck joint. It's just a dumbbell joint. And you're gonna get decent tilt, left, right, all the way around. But looking down, that's all right. But you'd think, getting Iron Man in a flying pose, you'd want him to look up. Here he is, bent all the way backwards, looking up. Like, why? Just give us the ball joint, man. It's just like, it drives me crazy. This thing would have been like, not perfect, but like, come on, man. Like, I just need a little bit more curve to him. That's all I'm asking. So that is unfortunate, but overall, man, I'm enjoying this much more than the original release, even if it is missing some stuff I'd rather have. And like I said, this is where I think it was this side. Yeah, I think it was this side where this piece popped off. You could add the accessories on, but like I said, mine never stayed on, and it would bug me. But it would also bug me if I left it on because it would fall off so easy. So not having to worry about that is nice. But like I said, options is always better, and I'm sure most people would rather have that, but I'm more bummed about losing the unmasked head. So I don't know. Overall, would I buy this? I would say yeah. I think the gold on this is just so much more clean, man. It's just clean. I can't wait to film these panel lines. I don't know, if I were you, I don't know, maybe do a compare and contrast with another reviewer. I would love to give you a comparison between the two, but I don't have that old one anymore. I don't know, like this evergreen line, it's really about trade-offs, it seems like, to me. So I do feel like the paint apps on these, though, tend to be better. I don't know if I feel the same way about the Amazing Spider-Man, though. I don't know if I like how bright it is. I think I'd rather just come across that single-carded one with the unmasked head sculpt before paying for the evergreen one. But I don't know. I feel like I'm admiring this much more than I did on that Infinity Saga release. So would I recommend this? Yes. Why not? And then if you really want the other one, go for it. And then, like I said, you could always upgrade a suited Tony Stark if you wanted to with that faceplate up head sculpt. So, yeah, I'm hyped on this one. In fact, today I bought the Nightcrawler, Spider-Man, and the Green Goblin. This is my favorite of the lot. This thing is just clean, man. And I can't wait to get to filling in some panel lines here and there. It's going to be super subtle, but it's going to all come together and be pretty sick, I think. So, I don't know. Let me know. Do you have the original release of this? Do you also have the Mark II release of this? What do you think? Do you think this guy feels better? Because I do. Do you think the gold is better? I don't remember if there's much of a difference on the red or not. But let me know. What do you guys think of this evergreen line? And don't say peg warmer, because that's the point. That's the point. It's meant to be there. It's meant to stay there. So I don't know. Let me know. Let me know something. I'm just sorry. I'm admiring this thing. I love this thing. He just looks so damn clean. Like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell, whatever you must do. Buzzwords. But anyway, thanks again for clicking, guys. I really do appreciate it. We're almost to a huge, huge milestone. We're almost to 10 subscribers. So, I'm going to be living the top shelf lifestyle here in a few days. I'm kidding, obviously, but it's still crazy to me. 10, that's a huge deal. I'm going to treat it as such. So, I appreciate you guys for clicking. I appreciate you guys watching. And I just appreciate you. Oh my God. Appreciate you guys in general. So, like I said, thank you so much. Let me know what you think about this guy. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.